It means you have to stop dragging around other people with you in your blame and resentment and anger. And all of that translates into shame for yourself, you know, because it's a two-edged sword. So is there anything anybody wants to share about that night? About your process of forgiving people? Great.
Let's see how pretty you are.
So, you may remember that at the end of that class, I was challenged, and something came up about someone that I had an interaction with, a relationship over a period of time. And when we left the class, Barbara, you were very accepting of my answer, but I was like, I'll see if I actually get to this. But you know, I went home and I did some work, and actually for quite a bit of time. But something you said a moment ago, and reminded me about that. And there's two seemingly unrelated things. So at some point, part of the practice that I pursued was just the love. Just to love the person, love the circumstances, love everything about it. Remember who I am and remember who this person is, in truth. But I also had this other thing going on where, you know, I can be compulsive in a whole lot of different ways. So whether it's eating potato chips or drinking lemonade or just making sure the furniture is just right. She's married to me, it's amazing. I can get like that sometimes. So I'm always looking at the particular ways in which I am compulsive. And I realized a few days ago, there's certain things that I was doing compulsively, I don't do them anymore. And I've been working at these things, oh, I still do this, I really shouldn't do this, you know. And it's like being attached to it. Now, I think the two things are related.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I really do. So anyway, that's my story.
Thank you. Jack?
I couldn't do the exercise that night. I sat here watching people writing. I couldn't do it, but I did take an extra form home blank so I could make copies. And I don't recall exactly when I did it. It might have been the next morning. And it was my ex-husband. His name is Mark. And I'm saying his name because there's a scripture that says, Mark the perfect man. And I had a boyfriend after my marriage named Mark, and I haven't done him yet. Well, you know, there's a spot on the form, you have to fill in the name. I could barely write his name, and I did a lot of forgiveness work in 1996. To his face and outside, you know, not in his presence. I was divorced by then. And it was very difficult to take myself from the victim to the volunteer. And I can actually talk about this without hatred or resentment. And I get to face him on September 6th at my son's wedding. And that's what brought all this up again. Thank you. Now I have another Mark to create the perfect man out of. So.
It takes a lot of courage to let go. It takes a lot of courage not to hide behind the emotions that we're so familiar with. It's, you know, you really do get to hide every time you blame. Every time you default to anger and resentment, you tell your story and you tell it to other people and they go, oh, you poor thing. You know, you're hidden. You're hidden, and it takes a lot of courage to stand up and to shine bright and to be strong and to accept your good. So you've done a lot over these last weeks. And then last week, we got to be in mastermind groups. We got to actually lay hands on people and chant this affirmation 3 times for them. The room was electric last week. What was that like for you? Exhilarating. Powerful. Emotional, yes.
Connected.
Cool,
I
yes.
don't like it.
Here, stand up,
Word
sure.
electric. Thanks. Stand up.
Yes. You could do it.
I was just gonna say that I feel like your word electric is perfect because I went home that night and could not go to sleep. I kind of had insomnia, but I just felt like all this electricity was like running through my body. And I got up and told my partner that the next day, and I felt like I've been plugged in.
You were, yay! Come on, Olivia.
Well, I did some forgiveness work that night, and I did not like it. I'm just being honest, I did not want to turn it loose, because the person that I'm angry at, I am really, really angry with. And not because they did anything to me, but because they are doing something to my child. And that is not my business, she has her life to live, and that is her choice. So yesterday she came over, and the boyfriend, something happened with the texting, and so I've been working on the forgiveness thing, so I text back in her stead, like moms do, to protect their children. And right as I was texting Spirit, and I wanted to say something very ugly to him, but I was wow. Right as I was texting, Spirit said, "Don't you dare." And I'm like pushing buttons, and I'm like, I couldn't even push the button, what I wanted to say. Because every time I wanted to say something ugly to him, I couldn't do it. Because I am changing the way I view him. Because he's a great person. He's just not great for my daughter. And I realized that as I was texting and I said something very sweet to him, it changed the whole conversation. Instead of everything blowing up, he was texting back, "I love you too. And I would never say anything or do anything to you that was disrespecting you." And I'm like, all right, I did it. I really did it.
Who else? Have you had demonstrations from your mastermind group last week?
Stand up.
On forgiveness,
They want to stay on forgiveness.
That's fine. They don't want to go there, they want to leave.
a number of years ago, I was hospitalized at Mission Hospital, and my family acted like I was not ill, and the tension between my sister and I became, it's like you could just cut the air, because I felt that my sister would always choose her husband over any emergency that was happening in my life. And it was very strange. And working on the forgiveness and just staying in the present and like not putting any energy in the past and all. My sister has just come around, and our relationship is just really what I wanted now. And she's been so supportive on the things that are going on with the real estate thing and helping me through it and all. So it's been a total change.
So you provided Sylvia, you forgave her and got a house. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works.
Well, I know you can already stand it, but
Can't see her.
Last week with the mastermind group was really, really, really powerful for me. And one, I wanted to say thank you all for being a center that does allow the hands-on, because that was so powerful. And in our group, we talked about how we felt the love and the connection when we were able to put hands on each other. And with our part of what my affirmation that I was working on is trying to find the next step of a transitional, I'm in a transitional job and trying to figure out, but I'm learning a lot from it, but I'm not happy, so I'm ready to find the next transitional job while I get back into the next step for my professional job. But, so that was Monday night, and then Tuesday when I was coming home, I called Sharon and she's like, you know, a friend of ours called from a place that where she's working at, which is one place that I would really think that would be a great spot for me. And she was calling saying how my manager, they're getting ready to hire, they haven't even posted yet, bring me your resume tomorrow. I will give it straight to her, you won't have to go through all the hoops. So I haven't heard anything yet because they haven't even posted it, but I tweaked my resume and got the application done and got it to her the next morning. So I just feel like, yeah, I've still been saying my affirmation, it's very powerful that we created in the mastermind group. And so that was a really powerful night.
Okay, this is part two. I really believe that my affirmation that we worked on that night is that Olympia has a life filled with passion, purpose, abundance, freedom, travel, and so much more. I have been saying that for a long time, and that's why I feel like the forgiveness was easier to do this time, because now I have freedom to forgive. And I keep saying this, my life is filled with passion, purpose, abundance, freedom, travel, and so much more. I say that every day, and I really believe that's why my boss is allowing me to use my creativity to start something new, which means I get more money.
You get more money and you get to be in your genius, which is worth its weight in gold. So you can continue either with your mastermind group or create a new mastermind group and do this on a regular basis. It's really very cool. Kristen.
I don't really know what category this fits into, but I'm sure that the class and the mastermind group and everything is been a part of it, but I'm in a relationship, and my history for my whole life in relationships often is that everything will be going great and then they will disappear off the face of the planet and I will never hear from them again. And it's happened over and over and over, and I've tried to break the cycle. And this past weekend, it gave the appearance that that was going to happen again, except this time we're much further in the relationship and we're saying, I love you, and I was just like, I don't understand. And y'all might have noticed that I came to church a bit of a mess yesterday morning, and I was sitting with Sue outside, and we were talking, and she was talking about how you deserve better than this, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't know how to break this cycle. This feels like the cycle again, and I don't want to do it. And she said, just say, I'm not doing the cycle again. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm not doing the cycle. But then I went home, and that night, the cycle got even worse. Like, he was just completely ignoring me, and I was losing it, like, on the floor in a heap of just mess. And Sue's voice came floating back to me, just say, you're not going to do the cycle again. You're doing the cycle. And it took standing in the middle of my floor, sobbing and screaming, I will not do this again, universe. I will not. I'm done. And 5 miles of walking around the city and packing all her stuff up and texting her, I am not doing this with you. And she showed up this morning and didn't even have her phone with her yesterday. And that's why she hadn't responded to any of my texts. It looks like things are probably maybe gonna work out. But yeah, and it broke the cycle. And so
Yay! Yes.
Okay, I felt something last week from the affirmation circle, you know, and somebody holding on to me.
Talk in the mic.
after we did the speech and the affirmation and all that. I'm kind of bashful and shy anyway. But I was kind of like on a downer at that time. And it took the group, the connection between the group to help me come out with what do you want? Or what do you feel like you deserve? And I finally put it in words that I want to move from where I live. I think I stepped down into what my intuition is, and possibly make new friends, because I feel depleted right now because of other circumstances, and a lot of my other friends have got married, moved away, or moved on, and some of them have passed away, you know, around my age bracket. So the process of getting ready, get the home ready, get my money ready, get a car, and do all this other stuff to get ready to move, is taking place slowly, but I'm working on it. I am working on it from the inside, and to get my mind straightened up and not be down and depressed as I was. So I will admit that this has helped me a whole lot.
Yay. One more, yes, Patty Lee.
The statement that we came up with for me was that Patty Lee allows the essence of who she is to shine within and without. Not without, but on the inside. Go through that. And so, until you mentioned tonight, if that had an effect, I didn't realize it had an effect. I work with software and money and things like that at college, and I'm in the donations department, so all of our big donors, the bosses wanted to send them a newsletter, and they wanted to use this software that, excuse the expression, is a piece of crap software, so I couldn't figure out how to get it to work, but I pretty much sent the first email out. And it only went to half of the people, and some of the people that it went to, it got garbled up. So the next day, I sent a test, which was supposed to only go to 2 people, and it went to everybody on the list. And then we changed the subject, and I sent that one again. So there's 3 emails that went out to the most prestigious people that donate money to the college. And so I went home and thought, okay, I'm not even going to think about this tonight. So I really worked hard to not consider anything about anything, other than the universe can take care of this for me. I have no idea how to fix it. I can't fix it. So the next morning I began to figure out what I did and realized I had sent 3 instead of 2, and texted my boss and said, uh-oh, I think I sent the test to everybody too. So I did that about 5:30 in the morning, and got dressed and did a treatment, and I had the most amazing experience driving to work. When I got out, we have a lovely campus and there's lots of green, and I love that. And I just realized how one we really are with every single thing in the universe, the flower, the bugs, the everything. That oneness just overwhelmed me. And so I get to work 30 minutes before my supervisor, and she came in and she knocked on my door, because we have a door that joins our offices together. And she knocked on the door and she came in laughing and she said, "Yep, you sent 3 emails. It's so funny." And that was the end of it. The end.
Yay. Thank you. So what I want you to know is that you are an extraordinary group of people. That you are amazing. That you can create things right out of thin air. And that you have great tools to allow yourself to live an amazing, rich, blessed life. I think that being a reflection of yours that John and I have been amazing teachers. But we are the teachers to different groups in different ways. So whether it was walking on fire, or whether it was creating money out of thin air, or whether it was changing your past so that you could change your future, or connecting, or developing faith, or whatever you've done over the last 36 days? Is that, no, 40? What is 6 times 7? 43 days. So over the last 43 days, you have made huge, huge strides. And personally, I would invite you to come to class 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to continue the journey and have a great time. But I want to thank you for an amazing Think and Grow Rich Summer Prosperity class. And I gotta ask you, are you ready? Yes! Take out what you're going to give. Are you ready to have money come out of the blue? Yes! Are you ready to have people in your life change? Yes! Are you ready to change? Yes! Are you ready to be the person who gets to have the rich life? Yes! Are you ready to have what you want to have? Yes! Are you ready to buy what you want to buy? Yes! Are you ready to go where you want to go? Yes! Are you ready to be who you were meant to be? Yes! We will say our treatment for prosperity together aloud. I first know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Think and Grow Rich program of our center, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. And I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Pass the baskets around and know that you can do more than one thing at a time, because we are going to continue to know that I firmly know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Think and Grow Rich program of our center, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. One more time to close it out.
Face the camera.
Only
Say it into
everybody.
the camera. Turn around, into the camera.
1, 2, 3.
I certainly know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Think and Grow Rich program of our center, and I know that we now prosper together in every way.
love you, great class.